Hi and welcome to the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association's Reasonable Doubt. I'm JV and I'm here with the one, the only Republican candidate for the Harris County District Attorney's Office, the one, the only, pound for pound, the best lawyer in the state and the greatest politician the world has ever known, Mr. Lloyd Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much.
How are you doing?
Well, I've been doing real good. Life is kind of slowed down, and I'm doing okay. Everything's all right. My health's up. I got my health. I got a pocket full of money, and I'm happy.
And you're running for the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
A lot of fun.
You have been known in the courthouse as the perennial runner.
That's right.
The man is, I'm telling everybody, the man's going to win one day, and it's going to be something big.
Well, I win every time. It's a win. You'd be surprised the number of good people I meet on the blue side of the street and the red side of the street. A lot of good people here in Houston, Harris County. A lot of bad people, too. That's what this office is all about, the bad people. But it's also about this. The problem that we have here is a lack of respect. There's no respect for the DA's office. There's no respect for law enforcement. Why can't the criminals just do what they want to? The crime here in Houston is rampant. Rampant.
So there was a report out by the U.S. government or somebody out there that said Houston's gangs are just overrunning the city.
That's correct. How long do you think it'll be before we're at Chicago? I'd say about 4 years.
You think so?
Look at the jails now are full down there. You know, they're bursting at the seams of all the darn criminals we have in there.
I think Eddie Cortez posted something on Facebook about the rankings of crime in this country. Mm-hmm. Chicago's up there.
Yes, it is. But our sheriff may not designate what is a crime. Chief police does neither because the mayor tells them not to because we want to keep the crime statistics low. You're aware of that. You
think as the Harris County District Attorney would keep the crime low?
That's what Oklahoma's for. We'll ship them to Oklahoma.
Who's going to pay for that? We already shipped them to Louisiana. Why are we going to ship them to Oklahoma? Because you know why? Because I think OU...
Well, we could ship them to Louisiana if you like.
No, we're not shipping them anywhere.
We could ship them to Mexico. Let's get them out of Houston. That's what I want to do. Houston, Harris County, Texas needs to be cleaned up. The only way we're going to clean it up is clean it up from the top and start down. The buck stops up there, but it begins up there too.
Do you consider the Harris County District Attorney as the top law officer in the county?
It is the top law officer in the county, period. Just like the Attorney General is the top law officer for the state of Texas.
Okay.
So, yes, it is the top law. And what do we have now for law enforcement? We don't have any law enforcement. We got no respect. So the criminal out there on the street, he gets busted for doing not some crime that you and I might do. We go to jail for doing something stupid. Well, he goes to jail because he's a criminal.
I want to know what crime you and I might do. We would probably do some public, I would do some public, maybe some disorderly conduct, maybe.
DWI, maybe?
No, absolutely not.
Assault?
Oh, well, maybe. Only if he had it coming.
Well, I used to drink, and trust me, the only reason I did not get a DWI because I quit maybe a week before they stopped me. So yeah, a DWI.
Let's talk about DWI.
Sure.
Okay, so the Harris County District Attorney's Office was faced with a massive lab screw up where some of the substances that were within the vial were tainted or contaminated. What says you? I mean, you as the district attorney, I mean, what do you do at that point?
After we get rid of our present district attorney, let's start over. Let's plea those out, those cases. Let's do something else. Let's set up something, start new, start fresh, start clean, and fix it where we've got the testimony and the evidence against them when they come the first day. When they come to court the first day. But the problem with that is this. Again, they come the first day, and what do they get? They already got a free bond. A free bond, please. Now you're going to appoint them a lawyer. You're going to appoint at whose expense? We, taxpayers' expense, pay for his bond. We pay for his lawyer. What's the lesson to be learned? He gets out of jail free. He got a free lawyer.
But aren't they innocent unless proven guilty? Don't they deserve to be out?
No, okay, yeah, let them burglarize your house. And say that. No. I'm saying no. If you're charged with a crime, most probably those thinking cops are correct. I mean, you committed the crime, and they've got you. And of course, they make stupid mistakes, and they're not always right. But if they charge you with a crime, probably you're guilty. Let's post a bond. Put up some security. Put up some surety. Put up some money so you'll come back to court.
On the Democrat side, we've heard a lot of things about not prosecuting marijuana cases, low-level offenses, and even as far as not prosecuting some sex cases.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I say let them rape those children. Let them do that. We're not going to prosecute that, are we?
Well, I think they're going to prosecute those. I think they're going to prosecute the
and
child
low-level
sex.
what? Let's let the Democrats not prosecute that also. That's pretty stupid also, isn't it? Just low-level alcohol. Okay, drink all the beer you want. Because we're only going to put you in jail and prosecute if you're drinking red-eye whiskey, all right? So as long as they drink that Who Shot John, they're going to go to prison. And we can't do that. Listen, marijuana is just an entry-level drug. We all know that. If we don't prosecute that, then they have no respect for the law. I wonder why. Why they keep committing the crime. The bail reform, so that there is no bail. That's not reform. That's just not at all. Let's reform it.
How would you propose they reform it? Or what are your views on? I think they're letting low-level offenses out, and on the ones where there's issues regarding physical contact, assaults, or things that need particular judges' orders, they're holding them and not necessarily releasing them right out the gate.
You're an attorney. When's the last time you were hired on a misdemeanor case?
It's been a while.
Yeah, so same here. You know why? They're getting free lawyers at the taxpayers' expense. We're picking up the tab of that. And a bond, they don't even return to court. Where they go? Well, they go to Mexico. They go to Oklahoma. Who knows where they go?
How are you supposed? So how are you going to control the crime in Houston?
Force the law. If they respect the law, they'll obey the law. But they get no respect. Look, we got a sheriff that won't obey the law. Now, this is going to be a sanctuary city because I said so. If he didn't like the law, he should do what he could do to change the law. But that's not the law. The law now is you have to do this. He doesn't do it. We got a chief of police, City of Houston chief of police does the same thing. No respect for the law. We got a district attorney that's serving now, the present Democrat district attorney. She has no respect for herself, much less the law. So again, it starts there. If they're not going to respect the law, it starts right up there. She doesn't respect the law. The police don't respect the law. The criminals don't respect the law.
What is the Harris County District Attorney's Office role in pursuing bail?
In pursuing bail?
In arguing for bail in front of a judge. Are you going to be on board with agreeing to no bonds or general order bonds on low-level offenses or first-time offenders of nonviolent stuff for felonies?
Well, the first duty is protect the citizens of Harris County. And just letting you out without a bond, is that going to protect the citizens of Harris County? I don't care what it does.
I might not have done it. Okay, so
you might not have done it, but you might not have done it, but you sure got arrested for it, didn't you?
You mentioned sanctuary cities. What is the district attorney's role in being in a potentially, some would call and argue, a sanctuary city?
What is his role? To prosecute anyone that didn't follow the law. If the sheriff's not going to follow the law, let's see what we can do to work with the federal authorities to prosecute the son of a gun. That's stupid. That's wrong. He's a criminal. And the criminals out there don't respect the law. What if it starts with him? He's certainly a major actor, a major player. He doesn't respect the law. If he doesn't respect the law, then why should I?
How are you going to get the sheriff's office to agree with you on that? I think he's already come up with some stance in his past that, he won't accept or enforce that particular law. Look, I'm not. If someone can do on Facebook and correct me on this, but he said something like, "That's why you bring it up," I suppose.
Either replace him, get rid of him, get him out of office. We don't need that kind of person. Maybe he'd be a good street cop. Maybe he'd be a good detective at something. I don't know. But as a sheriff, he's a bum. He's no good. If he doesn't follow the law, I'm not going to follow the law. I'll pick and choose the laws I care to obey, and he cares to enforce. But that's not the law. We don't do that. That's the law. If you don't like it, change it.
And I'm not saying that is the. I don't want to start any rumors here. If somebody could, but I don't think. But I do remember a story in NPR that, the whole idea of notifying the federal government that individuals from who are undocumented should at least their names or information be shared with the federal government,
Okay,
and that's not going to happen.
remember where you heard it's NPR. Come on.
Well, fair,
Come on.
fair enough.
Not
Fair
a lot-
enough.
much,
fair enough.
much credibility
You don't
there.
like NPR, man?
But yes, we have to cooperate with the federal authorities. Yes, we do. I think the federal law is this, and we have to obey it. If you don't want to obey it, change it.
Okay.
But if we, we fought that war once, where we didn't want to follow the federal law, and we know how that worked out.
So,
Right.
okay, so we have cops on the beat. They're arresting everybody. You're getting calls at intake. One of the biggest problems that have come up consistently, pardon me, is regarding the district attorney's intake. How are you as district attorney going to handle the current influx of crime calls that are coming in, allegations? And then, I mean, if you're going to come in and sweep it up, I'd assume you're going to get a flood more. How are you going? What's your plans for intake, and how are you going to afford that? And what's your plans? You got a vision?
I worked as an intern at the DA's office, and they stuck me in a pair of shorts over in this hot warehouse over there near the old city of Houston jail. Me and a bunch of other clowns. We worked the intake division of the DA's office, and it was no air conditioning. We hammered it. We worked night, we worked day. We got the work done, and there was some folks, but the way they would do it, and still do, it's not like a full-time job. Some DAs work there for a while, and some work this weekend and that weekend. They need a crew that does nothing but that, and have a 24-hour crew, because the crime doesn't stop. And the police officer, they can't reach the DA's office, they're going to file the wrong charges against the wrong citizen. The guy's going to walk.
Well, it's arguably happening right now that the intake is a problem at the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
Yes, but it starts at the Houston Police Department. Their intake, all right, their intake there. They move it over to Harris County. It's the same problem. It's coming from the same source. Some criminal out on the streets get charged with burglary of your residence. The city of Houston's one that arrested him, so it goes from there to the county, and the county, some assistant DA makes the decision whether we prosecute it or not.
How are you going to ensure there's good people there?
How you gonna what?
Ensure that there's good people in that are at that intake process.
We got some wonderful lawyers in the city of Houston. We got some wonderful lawyers that work for the DA's office. We got some bums there too. So, some reform, we need some reform there also. We got some good lawyers, some very good lawyers. You know what we pay in continuing legal education expenses for the assistant DAs to go to school, to stay up with the law, to do what they do, to do it good? A lot of money.
Is it enough, or do they need more?
That we got, listen, are we going to need no more courtrooms? We got courtrooms over there that are vacant. The darn judges, what do they work till noon? Try to find one at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm not going to find one.
Yes, you're not going to find one.
No, I'm kidding.
And the
There's going to be
court-
judges working. I'm kidding.
Excuse me, there are 1 or 2 judges and 1 or 2 felony and county courts that are there, but the others, they're gone. Try to, if you will, to...
Okay. So you got the people getting arrested. You got your intake set up, 24 hours. I hear they're working by candlelight already. This is how broke that the
We're not broke. We got waste. We broke.
Oh, so waste. So you come in. Let's talk about some waste. Do you have any ideas about trimming the fat?
Sure. Now those assistant DAs work 8-hour shifts.
8. I don't know what they work. If there's DAs watching, let me know what y'all work.
Instead of 9 o'clock in the morning till 2, let's have them work 8 hours. Let's have those district court doors open. Those judges get elected for full-time judges, not half-time, not part-time, not some part of the day, all the time. There should be a trial in every one of those courts every day, except we'll let them off on the weekends.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you agree?
I agree with that.
What do you have to do to get a trial over in Harris County now?
Well, jump through some hoops.
Pretty
But no,
difficult.
they're trying cases though these days. I think. No, you disagree?
I disagree. Also, you get an awful lot of pleas that you shouldn't have also, correct?
Correct.
Well, there's some reform needs to be done in the courts, in the DA's office, in the sheriff's department, bail reform. So reform is good.
So
It's down the right direction.
So they're here. They're arrested. You oppose the bail. And now we're in the court. Let's talk about the line prosecutors. What are your visions as far as, are you going to let them make decisions, or does everything have to go up the flagpole and nothing can get done?
Well, some of those, all of those guys in the courtroom are lawyers. They got some undergraduate degree in something. They maybe have a graduate degree in something. They got a doctor's degree in law, and law. They're pretty smart people. They're not a fool.
Yum.
Give them the authority they deserve. Let them make that decision. It's their call. They're lawyers. That's what they are. Let them do it. Let them make the call. If they want to do it, they don't need to follow it to my office to ask if they can do it. They're smart enough. There's some mighty, mighty good assistant DAs we have out there. They could do it and do it right.
Do you have any ideas for pretrial intervention? Currently, they have a pretrial intervention for retail theft. They have a pretrial diversion for DWIs, and then they have your common PTI kind of things.
Yes.
Do you have any ideas of keeping those or letting them go?
Pretrial diversion works on some people some of the time. A first offender, again, I'm going to point to you.
Hey, I'm Jose.
A first offender that committed an act of stupidity, let's work on that deferred adjudication or the pretrial diversion so he doesn't have a criminal history. And this guy who's stealing because he's hungry, let's give him a chance. Or this guy that's stealing because he's a thief, let's don't give him a chance. Let's put him in jail.
Fair enough.
Let's make him suffer.
Well, the real question is when you got the theft of a lobster tail, a bottle of wine, and some oxtails and some cheese. The man's hungry.
Yeah,
The man's hungry, you know.
And he's a first offender.
First, there you go.
And he's the first offender. He's hungry, and he can't tell a lobster tail from a chicken's tail. He's just hungry. All right? But he's not a thief. He has no criminal history.
So-
He's got a wife and 2 hungry kids at home. And I don't care how many lobster tails or pig's feet he gets. He's hungry. Let's handle him as a first offender.
One of the wastes that I see in the pretrial intervention programs are the amount of paperwork that you have to fill out. And all these extra fees that you have to run from building to building to pay and approval from so-and-so and this.
Streamline it.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. First offender commits a petty crime, let's streamline it. Make him sign a bunch of papers so that if he messes it up and he comes back to court, the only option is jail time. Not probation, not deferred. If he messes up a giveaway where we're going to, if he successfully completes the program, we're going to dismiss the case. So he's going to pay for that, and that if he doesn't successfully complete the program, there's no other option except he also pleads guilty to 30 days in jail, 60 days in jail.
Straightforward contract, no frills, no mess.
No, just a
sign the
simple
paperwork.
1 page.
Oh, and
1 page.
fees. What about fees? I mean, I think if you do that and cut out, nobody has to report anywhere, nobody has to do anything. They just have to turn something back into the DA or not get in trouble or something like that.
There's nothing like, most of that reporting is just a money grab anyway.
I agree
Most of
with
that
that.
probation part is just a money grab anyway. So let's do this. Let's have them report once a week and urinate in the cup. That'll solve about 90% of the problems.
Well, I mean, for a diversion?
Yes.
Hey, stay clean for 6 weeks and you're off?
Well, a lot of them can't stay clean for 6 days, but let's 6 weeks.
I like
But
that.
a 6 week deferred or a pretrial diversion, let's make it longer than that. Depends on the crime and the individual. Restitution. Let's work harder on restitution. Those merchants that get ripped off,
Sure.
let's protect those people. They're the innocent
but they're
people.
not
Let's
going to
give
get
them
any
their money back.
They're all, most of the people who are stealing from merchants, they're broke. They're poor. I mean, sure, occasionally you have a diamond thief or something, but
Again, you got to have the assistant DA that's smart enough, and most of them are. They're smarter than me, maybe not smarter than you, but they're smart enough to tell the difference between a thief and a citizen that done something stupid.
now I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, I think, I guess how are you going to find these people? I guess you're just going to lead by example, I suppose.
But you must. What we have up there now is leading by example too, and it's leading the wrong direction. You know, my opponent on the Republican side, whose name, well, you never missed your opponent's name, and I'm not going to. But I know someone that knows her. She don't know I know him. And he tells me, yeah, she's a nice lady. She really is. She got a husband, 2 kids, lives on the edge of the county in suburbia. She's a nice lady. And that's good. That's wonderful. But we don't need a nice lady up there in the DA's office. I'm sorry. We don't need what we have now for darn sure. But we don't need a nice lady. We need someone that can get the job done, to put those criminals where they belong, protect the citizens of Harris County, protect them and their property.
Do you think, are more prosecutors the answer? Hiring more staff, hiring more prosecutors because you're going to need to. I mean, if Harris County has been moving very progressive in the sense of, on one hand, on the sense of you can't arrest everybody because A, it might not be morally right, but also B, you can't afford it. On the flip side, you have what Harris County used to be is arrest them, lock them up, keep them in jail, and plea them out, and maybe 1 in a million get their trial. I still think that 1 in a million barely get their trial anyway.
Most of them are guilty. That's why.
Well, most of them work out in plea deals.
You got three cops that saw the guy commit the crime. He made a confession, and we got a video. Maybe he's innocent, maybe, but I don't think so. So there's a lot of folks in jail, and most of them are guilty. Have you ever been to jail?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Well, I was incarcerated once. For instance, when I was in high school, and traffic warrants, and the people that you'd see there, for instance, most of them deserve to be there. They put themselves there. They're criminals. They're nasty, filthy human beings. We need protection from those animals. And what you see in the Harris County Jail, and most of those people, we need protection from them. Is there enough money to go around? If that was what you made reference to a while ago, do we need more prosecution? If we done this right, we wouldn't need any more money. And we got enough assistant DOs there that are smart enough. If you give them their head like a good horse, they'll take you home every time, and they'll outrun the next fella. Some good, strong assistant DAs over there. Let's use them. They're being wasted now, and they don't stay with the DA's office very long now. Why? Look what they got for a leader. Excuse me. That's a joke. That's what we need is some leadership. I can provide that leadership. I don't think the nice lady that I'm running against in the Republican primary, she's not a leader. She may be a nice lady, but she's not a leader. She's not a fighter. She's not a warrior. I'll put them in custody, and I'll keep them clean.
I've heard of her. I think she's an outsider from Harris County, but I have asked around, and I hear that she is a good prosecutor out there. Used to be.
She's a prosecutor in Montgomery County.
In Montgomery County,
and she lives out, I understand, in that direction. I'm sure with her, she has to live in the county here, so she probably lives in Harris County at this time. And she had some kind of job working for the Houston Police Officers Union. I don't know if that qualifies her for the office. I've tried more cases than I can remember. Most of them I don't want to remember.
Fair enough.
All right, I don't think she has a record like that. I know she doesn't have a record like that. I've been doing this since 1976. 1976.
Have you always ran for office?
Well, there's a couple of years I didn't.
When did you first run?
I think it was 70.
Do you remember what it was for?
Mark McSpadden in the 209. That was my first race.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've known Lloyd Oliver, the Lloyd Oliver, I've been a lawyer for 10 years, and I've known you. You look the same. I mean,
good genes.
It's good genes. So you ran for McSpadden's bench.
In the 209, it wasn't his bench, it was Citizens' bench. He was just sitting on the bench.
Fair enough.
The 209th District Court here in Harris County. And I ran as a Republican. I couldn't get out of the primary because he had a lot of money and a lot of backing and a lot of endorsements. But I had a great time. I met a lot of friends, and I sharpened my teeth, so I know what to do next time. But most of all, again, it's good for business. Yes, it is. But most of all, you meet some wonderful people.
Where are you from?
I'm a fifth-generation Texan.
Me too.
Are you?
Yes.
I was born way out in Lubbock, Texas.
Awesome. Son of parents. What do they do?
My father's mother passed away. My mother passed away when I was about 4 in Lubbock. She's buried there in the same cemetery with Buddy Holly. I go visit her gravesite a couple of times a year, and well, it's nice there, very nice there.
And were you raised by your father?
I was raised part of the time in an orphanage and part of the time by my father. Yes.
That's amazing. So you most of your childhood out in Lubbock? Did you move around?
No, that my father pulled us out of there when I was about 6, and we moved to Dallas. And
how long were you in Dallas?
Long enough to get my GED.
That is awesome. And then where did life take you?
Life took me to little East Texas town up in northeast Texas, Commerce, Texas.
Commerce?
It was East Texas State College.
I think I've been.
But it was a college, and now I was a college boy. Now I can get education. Now I can make something of myself. And I got my undergraduate degree there, and now it's Texas A&M at commerce, so I'm a Aggie by proxy. Don't
Sure.
tell anyone. Oh, wait a minute. They know
No, no,
now.
yeah,
They
yeah,
know
yeah.
now.
And then you went. Did you work a little bit after that, or you go to law school?
Yeah, I taught school for a while. When I was
What'd you teach?
taught physical education and coached football
Nice. Offense, defense.
in Longview, Texas.
Families from Longview.
Are they?
Yeah, have a lot of family out there.
I left Longview and left teaching there because I had to get out here. You know, that bathtub was not big enough for me in that little red boat.
You're a big fish, man.
I
You're a
don't know.
big fish.
Not that it was a lowly job or there were bad people, nothing like that. It was me. So I'm off to Houston, Texas.
Why Houston?
Well, my grades were in college. I worked my way through college.
Where'd you work?
Pardon, I worked for a gas station. I worked in the student center. I worked throwing the Dallas Morning News Time, the newspaper. I worked in construction. I worked. It took me a while to get my undergrad degree. But I got my undergrad degree. Now, when I moved out of Longview into Houston, I had to support myself and work my way through law school.
Where'd you go to law school?
Went to school at South Texas College of Law.
I'm a South Texas College of Law. Yeah,
Except they kicked me out.
Did they? Yes. Well, tell them. What do you mean?
I was working for the Harris County Sheriff Department. I was working for HISD teaching elementary school. I drove a concrete truck for Houston Shell here in Houston Shell. And my grades were suffering, but I had to work.
You had to
I had
eat.
to pay the tuition.
Man's got to eat.
And you got to have a
South
place
Texas
to stay.
isn't cheap. Yeah, I know.
And South Texas College of Law didn't understand that.
Where were you staying around that time? Downtown? Were you staying right outside downtown? 2016 Maine?
I was staying at a flop house over there off Richmond Avenue.
It's awesome.
So anyway, they put me on scholastic probation. South Texas did, and rightfully so. My grades weren't good, and you're competing with all those guys that don't work.
Right.
They don't work. And I'm going to school in the evening and trying to study and work during the day, and I couldn't keep up with those guys, so I got put on that probation. The deans called me and said, "You got one more time, one more shot, one more semester. You're on probation."
That's all you need.
So I transferred out of there over to Texas Southern. I could not pass torts. I could not pass wills and trust. I couldn't pass it.
Awesome.
You know, I flunked wills and trust twice. I couldn't pass it.
You know, it's complicated, man.
So-
I'm with you. This whole intestate succession and such like that, I didn't get it.
I went over to Texas Southern, made an A in both of them.
Yeah.
So then I transferred I stayed there one summer, and it was so good. The grades were so beautiful. I stayed the next semester, and I tried to transfer my grades back to South Texas.
What'd they say?
Get out of here. Get out of here.
And you're working this
I said,
whole
"But
time.
wait a minute." Yes, I was working. I worked as like I said, I started practicing law in 1976. But in about 1974, I was working for the Sheriff Department as a bailiff in one of the courts.
Get out.
Judge Myron Love.
You
I worked in
bailiff.
his court, yes, as a bailiff. So I got to see some very good lawyers. I could see Percy Foreman. I could see him try some cases. All the big boys. I was a relief bailiff, and so I could go pretty much where I wanted. When I hear there's a big trial with a big name lawyer, I'd go watch it. I learned as much or more from watching those big dogs try cases.
Who have you seen?
Pardon?
Who have you seen?
Well, Percy Foreman. I saw Richard Racehorse Haynes try cases.
Wow.
Both of them are, top dogs.
Yes,
They're
they
good.
were.
And Gabe Nahas. I don't know if you even know
I don't know that name.
He's a little short Jewish guy that carried snuff around in his coat pocket. He was putting his lip all day long. Nice old guy. He worked till he was 100, and finally his heart gave out. Nice man.
You know,
I watched him do some stuff. I watched him under the table crying to a jury. He's just a good lawyer. I watched some good lawyers do some good things. So I've been in the business here in Harris County for forever.
where was that courthouse? Where are those courthouse?
Where the juvenile center is now?
Sure.
That was the original Harris County courthouse that I started in the 70s.
Same building?
Yes, same building. They just here
say they used
about
to
10 years ago they redone it and turned it into whatever it is now.
Well, and then a couple years ago the roof collapsed and they had to fix that, and But a quick story. They say they used to be able to smoke in the courthouse.
Oh yeah,
And that it
in the courtroom.
In the courtroom?
Yeah,
They could be sitting there
put it on the
cross-examining a
floor.
witness.
Yeah,
and
put it on the
smoke-
floor. They had linoleum floors. You could
Get
put it on
out.
the floor, yeah. But some of us had a little more respect. We'd step out on the outside, there was a stairwell outside. We'd step out there and smoke. There were 3 or 4 other people out there smoking. The assistant DAs, the bailiff, the criminals, the lawyers.
No.
Because everybody smoked.
Well, what they said is when they would bring the defendants out or the accused out, they would love going to court because that would be one of the only times that they'd be able to smoke.
Oh, but this started off, they could smoke in the jail if they had the money to buy the cigarettes, and they could smoke back in the holdover cell behind the courtroom if they had the money, if they had the cigarettes.
Cool Hand Luke, one of my favorite.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
One of my favorite. Just bringing me back. It's bringing me back. So you're a bailiff, and then what happens?
Well, I finally graduated from law school. I got my hours in to get the degree. I have a doctorate in law. Wow, that means I'm smart.
You got the gold card. Was it gold back then?
No, it doesn't. But I got a doctorate in law. And then I took the bar exam. Well, again, I'm not the smartest man in the world. I studied with some people the last couple of months, round the clock, and they're a lot smarter than I ever was. And I passed the bar with 4 more points than I needed.
Hey.
So I done real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
Yeah.
I didn't take it the second or third time.
No.
I passed it the first shot. I was so lucky, so blessed. Maybe I was smart. I don't think so. You work hard and you'll do it. That's always been my key to it, I believe, is a little perseverance. You keep plugging away, you get it.
And so you're a lawyer now. You go work for somebody. You said you were an intern with the Harris County District Attorney's Office?
Yeah, back in the 70s, yeah.
And then what'd you do? You say you hang up your shingle and say, I'm Lloyd Oliver, here we go?
No, I worked for this gentleman. He's deceased now. This old PI lawyer. He was a character. Bill Portis. I worked for him with a couple of other lawyers. There's 3 of us worked for him. And I learned the PI business, and he had a general practice. I learned some criminal law from him. And from then, the usual difficulties. And I went and cranked up my own office and started my own practice, and I've been there ever since.
Now, we know you've ran as a Dem and as a Republican. Why Republican?
Well, I started off as a Republican, remember?
You started
But why as a Republican? Look what the Democrats have done to themselves. I know some good Democrats, some smart Democrats, but what you see there, man, those are clowns.
What do you...
Good Lord.
What is the most clownish thing about the Democrats? Like, what do you say? I mean, like
well,
what?
I don't know. Look at...
We've talked about bail reform, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about sanctuary cities. We've talked about a progressive, I guess, prosecution. And you say no to those, right? You say you're coming in RESPECT, respect.
We can do better than that.
Why?
We deserve better than that.
Why the Harris County District Attorney's Office? Why do you pursue that one? I mean, you can run for judge, you can run for all kinds of things. Why the Harris County District Attorney's Office?
You can do the most good there. 2, that needs to be replaced real quick before we turn into Chicago, real quick. If we don't do something about the law enforcement now, we will be at Chicago. The gangs are going to own the streets in a very short period of time. They own the restaurants, and whatever they're doing the other day, they can't make any money because the thieves break in and steal all their money. They can't go out the back door with a bag of cash because the thieves are waiting for them out. They can't do that. We got to put those folks in custody. We got to lock them up and keep them there.
Lloyd Oliver here for the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. Reasonable doubt. We have reached around the halfway point. 713-807-1794. Text or do something on the internet or call. We have Lloyd Oliver here. We'll open the phone lines. He's going to take a question or 2. Everybody wants to know about your stance on assault family violence.
Yes.
Right? We do see that a whole lot. What is the district attorney's role in prosecuting allegations of family violence?
You as a lawyer, I have come into a lot of cases where the husband and wife, they get into some kind of altercation, and he hits her, she hits him. It don't make any difference. They hit each other. Matter of fact, they fight all the darn time. Well, someone calls the police, and they come out and they arrest him, take him to jail. And the next day she's calling me saying, could you please get my husband out of jail? And here's some money, make a bond for him. Here's your retainer. Here's the money for your retainer and the attorney fee. The wife, the victim of this crime, wants her husband back home. Why? Because it's just fighting between the 2 of them. It's unfortunate, but that's what they do. What business do we have to interfere in their personal affairs to a point? Now, if he takes a hammer to her, a baseball bat, sure, we got to interfere. But when she's paying the attorney, when she's making the bond, we got to go. The state doesn't have a complaining witness. Are they going to try that case? Are they going to try that case? They're going to lose if they do. No jury's going to convict that when the woman's saying, "Hey, it didn't happen like that, and it didn't hurt, and he didn't do it." Well, let's get rid of something like that. Let's put both of them in some kind of mandatory family counseling. Let's do that. That would help so many of them. Most of the domestic issues are because if we took the alcohol out of it and the marijuana out of it, there wouldn't be a problem. They need some marriage counseling, yes, but the first thing they got to do is get rid of the booze. So yes, some of them need to be prosecuted, some of them don't.
The district attorneys, what do you think the role is when they ask for a magistrate's order for emergency protection or a restraining order right out the gate and they haven't heard anything on the other side? Is it better to protect, come out and say we want this MOEP and we want all these restrictions before the individual's there, or is the position we'll stand back and wait?
Okay, what I see a lot of is you walk in there and there's already a protective order. Who I walk in with is my client, and who's next to him is his wife. And they want a protection order because he's in the courtroom with her. He's got to get out because she's with him. And they got to take a separate elevator out of the courthouse. They got to take separate vehicles home. They don't have one old beat-up vehicle, and they drove that up to the courthouse.
But what? Okay.
So no, we don't need a protection order in all cases. If the wife's there with you, you probably don't need a protective order. Don't just give a blanket protective order in every family violence case. It's not necessary. She wants him home.
What about in the scenario where they haven't spoken to the complaining witness, when they haven't been able to reach the witness or the wife or the girlfriend or the boyfriend?
Yeah. Well, I would imagine I would have them speak to the lawyer, reset it till tomorrow. Get a hold of that person. Get a hold of that person. Get a hold of the wife if the wife is the victim. Get a hold of him and see what she wants, because what she wants is going to be controlling. And if she wants her lover home, who are we to interfere with that?
Resolving cases, are you looking for, I think everybody wants to revert back to, I think one time you said, well, put some boxing gloves on them and let them solve it out in court. I don't think you really meant that.
That's not what I said, frankly. But
well,
what I said, well, if you want to go there, was that there's some people you just got to let them fight it out. There's nothing else you can do, because he gets out of jail and everything's okay for a few days. Then they're doing it again. We go to the expense, the trouble of getting the police over there, arresting him, taking him to jail, making a bond, hiring a dumb lawyer, and we're back over doing the same thing. And she wants him back home. Wait a minute. If you guys are going to fight, if that's a prelude to you guys making love, well, then go over there and do it. Leave. We don't need to get involved in that.
I think that's actually pretty progressive, man.
It
or
is.
not, or maybe it's not, actually. Maybe it's not. Maybe it isn't. I don't know, but that's definitely...
Some people, there's going to be violence there.
Fair.
Because she's no good, and so is he. And that's just going to be there. Now, I've never had any luck with the ladies beating them up first, but maybe there's some guys do, and that's what they do. Those guys need to go to jail.
We have a phone. Caller, talk to me.
Hi, JV, and hi, Mr. Oliver. I have a question regarding the death penalty and what we can expect from an administration run by you in regard to your prosecution of the death penalty and seeking death and that sort of thing. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, caller. We'll take your answer off the phone. Yeah. You're going to have... Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
I'll ask you. Harris County, top law enforcement officer, are you for or against the death penalty?
I'm for the death penalty, but we got to use it sparingly. There's some people, the only way they're going to learn is to see this other guy get to ride old Sparky, to get electrocuted, to get fired, to put him before a firing squad. What state is it gives them the option? The firing squad, the chair, or the needle? Most of them would take the firing squad, all right? So there's some people that they're not going to stop killing. They're not going to stop committing horrible crime. They're not going to stop raping babies. Well, he's in custody now. Now the issue is, do we give him a life sentence or execute him? I say let's cook him, fry him. Because if you do that and he dies, 100,000 inmates learn the lesson. and that if you push this button, if you go there, if you cross that line, you're going to get killed. The state's going to put you to death.
Do you think that that punishment is actually a deterrent? In the sense that, because some of the people say that, hey, nobody knows that you're going to die for committing these types of crimes, and that doesn't deter anybody.
Well, I don't know. If you were to chop off my finger, I would stop doing whatever the hell you told me to do. All right. So would it stop me from committing another crime? If you chop my, yes, it would. Or how about my hand off? So does punishment stop crime? Yes, it does. It would stop mine. But see, I'm not a criminal. I'm just a stupid citizen that done something real stupid. So I learned my lesson. The criminals, you chop off their fingers, their hand, their arm, they're still going to come back at you. That's society. They're still going to rape another baby. I never want to see that happen again.
The Harris County District Attorney's Office currently has policies that say, hey, we're not going to offer anything but prison in these types of cases, or we're not going to not going to offer probation in these other types of cases. Do you fall along those lines?
Yes. It should be done on a case-by-case basis. But again, turn it over to that assistant district attorney. He's a smart man. Let him figure it out. Let him figure it out. Some things don't deserve probation. Some deserve 20 years. I don't care. Then let him make that decision.
Let's talk about your inner crew. You're going to come in there. Do you have ideas of who you're putting in place, or who you'd like to see as, let's say, the first assistant? And then, I don't know if you have plans to have a trial bureau and separate divisions for specific cases. Let's start at the top, because at the top, it's Lloyd Oliver.
Okay.
Who's your first assistant, or what you're looking for?
Let's talk about the last assistant. Let's start there.
Okay.
Well, no, most of the crew we have there are smart. And if you let them all go, number one, they're not going to quit. They make pretty good money. They're doing what they want to do. They enjoy their work. If you give them their head, they really enjoy their work. So there's a number of them there you could turn around. A lot of them you wouldn't leave for the world. But if you need to hire some more, do. If some of them don't perform or they want to quit, sure, let them. Give them a contract. And at the end of the contract, they got a choice. They can leave, they can go. But yes, we need some new blood there. So there's a lot of corruption up there.
One of the questions is, would there be any difference between prosecuting man and a woman domestic violence cases versus man domestic violence cases, or woman versus woman domestic cases? Would you treat them any differently?
Yeah, human nature is that the female prosecutors, they treat the man that allegedly committed the act of family violence pretty rough. And male prosecutors don't. Maybe they understand it a little. It's just Mother Nature taking over. But it's natural. It's natural to do so. So I would say domestic relations. If you fall in the wrong court, you may be in a lot more trouble than you would in another court.
I tend to agree with that. I think that's how it is now. You're at the luck of the court. You need to know who your judge is. You need to know who the prosecutors are in there.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think more consistency would be great.
Yes.
Along the lines. But one of the questions is marijuana. How much time should we give marijuana offenders?
Well, we talk about manufacture, delivery, sale, or mere possession of a small amount.
Let's talk about personal use up to 4 ounces.
I don't know if 4 ounces is personal use.
I'm kidding. I'm
okay,
kidding.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about some personal use.
Okay.
The guy walking around with a joint because he's going to go listen to a concert at Last Concert Cafe.
He got a gram in his pocket, and he gets pulled over for a DWI. What do we do with that? Is he a first offender?
Let's say he's a first offender.
We certainly got a place for him, but it's not the jailhouse.
Fair.
Maybe we give him a ticket.
I like that. I like that. I mean,
but let's presume that he's not a first offender. He's got a long criminal history. Just take him to jail.
Lock him
make
up.
a bond, hire a lawyer.
Well, he's going to go through the system. He'll pop out on a time served, he'll get a bond, and then he'll he'll hire a lawyer.
No, he'll get a court-appointed lawyer. He'll get a free lawyer at your expense.
Okay, and then.
Does he learn anything?
No.
Yes, he learned that it costs money to do this, maybe, except everything's appointed.
But then we're clogging the system, no? Then we got another misdemeanor.
That's right. And then the second time around, he's not eligible for any of that. He goes to jail. He has to make a bond. He has to hire a lawyer. He gets none of that free. And it's not a traffic ticket anymore.
And then
maybe give him some drug maybe make it something mandatory. This you got to do some kind of drug therapy.
If they're getting out, though, they're gonna be demanding their trial. You're gonna pull the full force and weight of the Harris County District Attorney's Office on these marijuana or low-level offenses. They're not all the same, but you know, misdemeanor marijuana.
If those county courts work full time, which 90% of them do not,
Fair enough.
if they work full time, they could say, listen, you're here and this is Monday, January the 1st. Come February the 1st, you're going to go to trial. Bring your lawyer with you. Or you represent yourself if you want to, but you're going to trial.
10-day trials. People be getting a lot of experience with that. Everybody's announcing ready. But then again, if your prosecutors are overworked and underpaid, they ain't going to be ready.
Well, if they're not ready, they should be. If they work full time, they would be ready. Most of those marijuana cases are about the same. The facts are, if not, they got the offense report right there before them. And if the policeman took him to jail for some weed and he's a third offender, he'll show up.
You know, that's what they say. We hear stories about back in the day, respectfully, right? That the prosecutors used to just go in there and they would just be trying cases. And defense attorneys, everybody's just trying cases. Trying cases.
They work.
That's what they say. Those are the stories.
We got such a volume of business here, we've got to set up something that, not an assembly line, but certainly we got to set up a procedure that moves these cases along. And the first thing I do is make those courts work full time. And I would show up there or tell my assistant to show up there after lunch. This will scare the devil out of them. After lunch with your two police witnesses and your file and say, we're ready for trial, Judge, in these 3 cases.
The county's huge. I don't know if you can do that with the manpower or the funds that they have now.
So what are the judges going to do? They're not going to be there. They're going to have to come home. Have to come from home. They've been home. They left the courthouse 11 and they ain't coming back.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I'm not completely, but I see eye to eye with you on that. I would like to see more 8 to 5 courts. There are some out there, and when something has to be done, it's done. But
if you've been to,
I would like to see that.
If you've been to courts in the outlying areas of Harris County, where they have a 1:30 docket.
Yeah, sure.
Works real well, doesn't it?
It does.
That judge works full time. It can. You got an idle judge up there, we're doing something wrong. You got a judge not showing up there, and we got witnesses, and we had our case ready, and they're not there. That's something wrong.
It's Lloyd Oliver, always ready. 713-807-1794. Come on, give me a call. I'm reading from the Facebook. The computer's talking. I'm getting texts. Come on, send it in. Okay, here we go. We have a question. Should people who violate their probation on technicalities? Okay, here it is. Probation technicalities. We always hear it. The state says, "Oh, judge, we oppose putting him back on probation because he has this technical. Put him in jail, right? And so, what's your stance on that?
On a case-by-case basis, if the defendant made no effort, jail might be the only answer. But 2, probation now is done like this. They set the poor people up for failure. Just set them up. This poor guy's trying to earn a living, make his trailer payment, make his pickup payment, pay that stupid probation officer, what is it, $60 a month to do what? And he pees in the cup, you got to pay for that. He's got to pay fine, court costs, and baby needs a new pair of shoes. What do you think he's going to do? Because he's got to do 60 or 120 hours community service. He's going to take care of that baby. He's going to do the right thing. So that technicality, he didn't show up one time, or he got one dirty UA, or he's behind on his. Those are technicalities. We got to handle it on a case-by-case basis. If he's just not doing it and just flagrantly he has no respect for the court, no respect, then let's put him in jail.
RESPECT.
That's what it's all about.
Find out what it means to Lloyd Oliver. So let me ask you, okay, you think you got enough gumption and strength to go up against the judges? Because you got a full damn lineup on the judge side currently.
Well, you got a full deck.
You got a full deck,
You got a full deck. But I've got a full deck. I've got 2 police officers there, and my file, and my assistant DA, and we're knocking on the courthouse door saying we want a trial. Now, how many times you have to do that for the press got a hold of it, for the judge straightened up? You wouldn't have to do that 2 or 3 times. They'd be there at 1 o'clock. They'd be there at 1:30. You don't have to kill them all.
You think, but I have seen, you think that You're going to be able to tell the judges how to run their dockets?
I'm not going to tell them how to run. Just I would be there with my cases ready, with my assistants ready, and we want a trial. And we got a camera on the shoulder over here. I bet that judge would be there.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on
It's a
that.
full-time
Lloyd
judge,
Office
aren't you?
coming straight to the courthouse steps. I'm telling you, fair enough. Fair, I mean,
Make them work. We got some very good judges there, but they've been sucked into this black hole that all of them are taking off at noon. So a few of them will, so all of them are taking off at noon. That's in the county courts, the district courts. I'd hate to walk across the street over the appellate courts and see if they ever even bother to show up for work.
let me ask you this. There's been a lot of legislation that allows individuals to go out and ask for a non-disclosure or clean up their records or even by agreement expunge some things that maybe aren't expungible or non-disclosable, if I may say.
Well,
What's your opinion?
Well, I've had clients that have a DWI. It happened 30 years ago, and it'll follow them around like a dog. They can't get rid of it. They can't get an apartment. They can't get a decent job. That's got to be handled on a case-by-case basis. At some point in time, a misdemeanor, we got to expunge it. We got to let it slide off the books. Not so DPS they can find out, but so landlords can't find out, so employers can't find out. They don't need it. And some offenses that were some possession of marijuana was a horrible offense 20 years ago. Yeah. Well, we can do something with that also on a case-by-case basis.
Let me ask.
Small amount, first offender, and he's been clean for 20 years. Let's get that off his record if he wants to.
Some of the questions here are asking, is Lloyd Oliver trying to be tough on crime or tough on the judges or what?
Let's protect the citizens and the property of Harris County. And those that can't follow the law, they need to go to Oklahoma. That's where they need to be.
That's
maybe
crazy
Mexico or Louisiana. Maybe Dallas. Get the hell out of Harris County.
Okay, there's, the Dems are up and you're coming in as Republican. What's the Republican outlook for this next election? Are you guys feeling strong or what's the deal?
Well, the Democrats done real good the last time. They swept the ballot last time. And they followed on the heels of, what was that clown's name?
I don't know.
I'm supposed to mention his name.
You have to finish that joke. I'm not finishing that joke.
But they were on his hill, kind of got sucked into it, and they got elected because of him. And he didn't go any place with that. He ran against our state senator, and he what did he say?
I don't know. I was listening. I heard a laugh. They're laughing. It's funny. It's funny.
But in any event, they got elected. That's why. That and the darn Republicans weren't organized. They didn't do anything. They presumed it was a shoo-in. Well, this time, it's a president's election year. We get the power of Donald Trump there, and he is a fighter. Like it, what he does or not, he's a fighter. He's a warrior.
You support Donald Trump?
Yes.
Do you support the federal government stance on? And also, I think there are state of Texas saying, "Hey, you can't bring people to our
migrants,
city."
yes.
Right.
Well, Donald Trump's he's Donald Trump. You got to let him be Donald Trump. And if we have an elected official, a president, a senator, representative of some form, and you agree with about 90% of what he does, and the other, you just hate it. You just hate it. Well, you got to make a choice, and the choice is pretty obvious. If you agree with 90% of it, you just have to forget the rest of it. Not everything Donald Trump does is right or smart, but most of it is, darn it. I have a stupid IRA worth a lot of money now. It wasn't until he got in power. He's done real good by me, so I'm on his team in that respect. Two, he's building a wall. He's keeping his promises. He's got some mighty good judges up there on the Supreme Court. Look what he's done internationally. We got this new trade agreement the other day. My God, it's going to work wonderful for everyone. And we fellow Republicans will ride his coattails in office in 2000. You watch it.
You think it's coming?
Oh, absolutely.
You think the red is coming back?
Elizabeth Warren is going to. Who's going to ride her coattail?
Well,
what about that little commie guy? What's his name? Sanders?
Oh, I don't know.
Nobody got to vote for him.
Hey, you got to feel the burn, man. You got to feel the burn.
Well, you got to feel the burn, maybe so. And he's a nice guy. I wish he was my grandpa, but I don't want him my president.
What do you like about running for office?
Again, there's so many nice people we have here in Harris County, and I get to meet them. I get to shake their hands, get to kiss their babies. I enjoy that. some people I see out on the election circuit, it's work. They got to go to another endorsement party. They got to, and they don't like it. I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. What I do see that we haven't covered is I see a lot of people that are accept money. A lot of candidates accept money from these endorsement groups, and therefore they're all over the media. They're all over everything. They get all the endorsements because a lot of them are just paid for. And if I go to these endorsement gatherings, if you will, half the room is candidates, the other half's their wives, and there may be 5 or 6 people there, citizens that have not yet decided who they're going to vote for. It's a waste of time, just a waste of time. And if you got to give up something that you feel very good about, you're doing the right thing, you got to give that up in order to get this group's endorsement. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that.
What is the legacy of Lloyd Oliver, Harris County District Attorney? What is it? What do you remember for?
Well, respect. Teach them respect, and that's the key to it. It's very simple. Nothing complicated about this office. It's not hard. I mean, come on. How much brains does it take to do this? Look who's doing it now. Look who's done it before that. How smart do you got to be? Come on. But the problem is the criminals have no respect. The cops have no respect for the system. The system's corrupt. They got no respect for each other. The judges, they're not showing respect for we citizens that put them in office. So until you teach them some respect, from the top down, you show them what respect is. They have something to respect. Now they have nothing to respect. And my Republican opponent, she's just not strong enough. She's just not strong enough. I don't know when the last time she tried a case, but I'll bet I've tried 100 more than she has to some kind of successful conclusion.
Last word, Lloyd Oliver. Last word. Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association here with Lloyd Oliver. Hopefully we can wrap out the series with the last Republican candidate next week. With that being said,
It's going to be 2 weeks.
2 weeks. There's no show. No show next week.
You don't recall her name though, do you?
Huffman.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry.
Huffman?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
a nice lady.
Huffman. I hear she's good.
Do this if you would, please. When you do talk to her in a couple of weeks, tell her I paid her a compliment. I said she was a nice lady.
I think she is too. This is what they say. Nobody knows her though.
We just don't
Nobody knows her, you know? Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, thank you for your time here with Lloyd Oliver and the crew. I'm Jay Vela for the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. Thank you so very much. Mary Nan Huffman is her name. Mary Nan Huffman. It's on the Facebook.